So today we are working on a 2004 Dodge Ram 1500. Um, it overheats after 30 minutes of idling. So what we believe is a bad fan clutch causing the problem. My daughter, this is her truck, and she is a coffee junkie, so she spends a lot of time in Starbucks drive-throughs, things like that, and it's became an issue. So how I can show you the fan clutch is bad. There's zero resistance with the fan. It's just freewheeling. So that's what's leading us to believe we have a bad fan clutch. And I'm going to show you step by step what it takes to replace this. Okay, tools required for this job. A belt tension relief tool, pair of needle nose, screwdriver. I'm using an electric ratchet, 13 millimeter wrench, 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter, and 13 millimeter socket, quarter-inch ratchet with some extensions, a screw gun, a magnet tray, an impact hammer or air hammer, and a fan clutch tool removal set. So you can get all this stuff on Amazon, Lyle products. You don't have to go Snap-on or Mac or any of the expensive stuff. You can use whatever works for you. The tool's not the mechanic, the mechanic's the mechanic. All right, let's step into the vehicle. Part of the air intake. Cut it. Always put it on this way. Get a good angle. Loose. Once you have it loose, just let it sit there loose. Pull these tools out of your way. Now that the fan clutch is loose, just get it backed off quite a bit. Have it sit there, because you're going to take half that shroud out. And when you take half that shroud out, you're going to lift the fan clutch with it. But you don't want it sitting in there or moving around, because you don't want to hit the radiator with the metal blade. You want to try and avoid that. So now we're going to pull the coolant reservoir out of our way. Grab your needle nose. Lift up the hose clamp. Undo your 10 millimeter bolts. Put it in the tray. Be careful, these nipples like to break. have to be buying a coolant reservoir. If it's too much trouble, just cut the hose and replace it. It's better. Right. Sit this thing sitting up out of the way. Remove the rest of the air intake tube here, just to have it for later. Set that nicely out of the way. And there's 4 screws holding this half cover on. The 2 lower ones you can get from the top. It's going to be a bit tricky, but you can do it. Magnet tray. Get the lower ones first. Be easy on these these AC compressor lines. You break one, it can make your day. Take you from a 20-minute job to a couple-hour job. Magnet tray. Sit your gun out of the way where it won't fall into anything. Spin your clutch off. This is the part where you gotta be careful because you don't want to hit the radiator with those steel fan blades. They will make you have a bad day. Lift up and remove. See all the oil that's leaked out of this fan clutch? That's a super indicator this thing is super bad. So I'm pretty sure we got the right diagnosis. Okay, so now we're swapping and putting the new fan clutch on. I don't like how this one didn't have lock washers. The new one's coming with lock washers, so always sit them face down. That way you'll never mix up the blade direction, and just pick it up and literally move it on over. Hand start them. Always make sure you don't cross thread. Okay. A lot of times it's good to just do it all the way with the wrench. I've been doing this for a couple days, so I feel like I can just run it in like this. Just want to make sure you don't over tighten it. Always come back with your wrench, check to make sure all the bolts are good and tight. That one moved a little bit. You don't want those bolts coming off later. Some guys put Loctite. If you're gonna do Loctite, I prefer the blue. It's your discretion. All right. This part can be a little tricky. You just put your fan clutch And fan inside your shroud. Lower it down. The main thing is to get the fan clutch on first. This can be tricky. If you have to, spin it backwards till you feel the threads kind of click together. And it will go. They get tricky though. There we go. Run that pretty much all the way on. It's easier to do it from here. And we didn't need the belt removal tool because the belt never had to come off. So some cases you do need that tool, some cases you don't. Here's, go back to our fan clutch removing tool and just make sure, push it hard and you see that belt rotate. That way it won't come back off because the engine direction is always tightening everything. All right, now do the upper screws first. Make sure you start all 4 screws before you tighten everything. It just makes your life easier. And we got the screws in there on the top. Go to the bottom here, get this one started. Alright, that one's hand started. This is why a magnet tray is so important. This one's the funnest of them all. Alright, now you get your screw gun, little extension. Now let's reinstall our coolant reservoir. Put the hose on first. That way we can get coolant everywhere. Do the clamp. I always give them a nice little tug to make sure those clamps seal. Your screw. Good. And sometimes you can lube those and make it a little easier to put it on. I'm gonna go without it this time though and see if it'll go. Just gotta make sure you get top and bottom and don't have this thing kind of, sometimes people accidentally get part of it not on there, and that will not be fun. It'll cause some running issues. 8mm wobbly. Don't over tighten it, just get it good and tight. Hand start your bolts always. Back to your 10mm and extension. It's always smart to put your finger on the bolt while you're doing this. Done. Okay. Back to your 8mm for the air intake, and it looks like we have a finished job. Did we get the air intake tube on? Make sure you get the notches lined up right there and right there. Kind of be gentle with these tubes, they like to split. The older the vehicle, more worn out they are, and then you end up having to tape them, replace the tube if it's a paying customer, things like that. You don't want to have to do that. All right, get all your tools off the vehicle before you start it. Alright guys, the truck's been running for over 45 minutes. Temperature has not moved. Quick side note, don't forget this little sensor right here. I had to clear it. I had turned on the check engine light. Temperature is good. So truck has a confirmed repair. It is not climbed above normal operating temperature for 45 minutes at idle. Truck was already pretty warm before I started it. My daughter drove it to the parts house to get the fan clutch, so it had already been driven today. Just a quick side note, you can tell this one just stops. Remember, if you guys remember, the other one just spun free-willingly, and it's drawing air, it's pushing air while it's running, so we definitely have a confirmed repair. Have a great day, and like and subscribe and share. Thank you.